is I feel like once you've met like most of your like basic needs, and I will say like I'm no person to judge. Basic needs for some people means different things. Like, it's funny, I was speaking to an associate of mine and she was saying, like, we were kind of having this conversation and I was talking about like how much people think they need more money than they do to survive off of. And just as I was about to say a number, she was like, yeah, like you only need like 18 million a year. And I was like, what do you spend 18 million a year on? And she's like, oh, my jet fuel is 5 million a year. And that's her truth, is like a multi-billionaire. My truth is another number that, some people might find big. For some people, they're like, oh, I need 30 or 50K or 100K a year to live off of. So my point is, like, once you hit that number, you start looking at different things. And I think like one of the big things is not what are you doing, it's who are you doing it with. Because I feel like if you do it with the right people and you show up to work every single day, like right now it's 9 o'clock, 8:47 on a Tuesday. There's still so many people here. Most people can check out. I was in the office on a Sunday. There was like 15, 20 people here. No one needs to show up here on a Sunday, but people love the people that they work with so much. So yeah, I guess all that to say, I think once you get to a certain position in life, it's not about the money, it's how you make the money. And it's also not about like how you make the money, it's also about like who you make the money with, if that makes sense. And sometimes I'm a very pragmatic person. I think also you need to be like wise and you need to be smart and you need to like honestly like go get your bag. But once you've done that, I feel like you kind of have earned the privilege to go, okay, what do I really want to do? And maybe short term it doesn't make you as much money, but long term it actually can make you far more money. Number one. Number two, just considering like genuinely, like, do you love the people that you work with? Because I'll be honest, there's been multiple times, and like it's funny because you hear it and you're like, no, like I'm different, I'm different, because you hear these things of people saying. I've heard from multiple people as I was like coming up in my career, oh, the benchmark, you always keep pushing the benchmark forward. And I was like, nah, this is, big number. Once I hit this number, like I'll retire. Like in my mind, I was gonna like retire for a few years and kind of take a few years off. And I hit that very, very big number in 2021. And then I hit another very, very, very big number multiple times since then. And each time I was like, oh, maybe this, like I'll kind of take time off and take a few years off. And I think genuinely, if I didn't enjoy the people that I worked with, whether it's, my own companies where I'm the sole shareholder, or whether it's businesses like WALP, or you saw another one of our companies, Lyra, where I'm a co-owner with a large stake in the business. So I don't rub shoulders every single day with my team at these companies, but still very involved. And it's just genuinely without these people, like, I don't know, man, I just think I retire at this point. So I think that kind of goes to show it. It's not always about making the most amount of money. I think sometimes for your soul, it's important to love what you do. And by the way, love what you do to me also doesn't mean like every single day is like roses and sunshine and blah, blah, all the stuff. Today, there was a very difficult C-suite conversation we had to have in this room, like a 3-hour conversation about some things directionally where we might be missing the mark, or we could show up better, some key hires, it was just like, today was like one of those heavy conversations. So when I say that, do what you love, I don't mean that in like an airy fairy, oh, if it feels difficult or if it feels hard or if it feels like there's a part of the work you don't like, well then, oh, you're not meant to do it. It's like, no, like honestly, 80% of whatever you do will always kind of suck, and that 20% will make the 80% worth it 10 times over. So yeah, I would say it's not always about making the most amount of money, but that is a privilege that you get to a certain point. And I don't mean like you need to become a multi-millionaire to get there. Just like, I feel like once you kind of get to like 100K a year, pretty steady, you kind of get to a point where it's like, okay, like what do I really actually want to do in life, and who, more importantly, do I want to be on this journey with?